Hey everyone, the Fallout 76 reveal was at E3 last night. Bethesda showed off a bunch of cool stuff. They revealed the release date, which is November 14th this year. There will be a beta for the game, and it is entirely online, which could mean a few things. There's some more speculation I'll get to, but first I'm kind of going to let this play, and I'll talk over it and sort of fast forward through parts that maybe aren't as relevant to what I'll be talking about. So the first thing he talks about is that the setting of the
Vault
game is in
76,
West
one of the
Virginia,
very first
and
vaults to
your
open,
character
was built to celebrate
has
America's tercentenary,
been chosen to
which is
be
an awesome word, by the
in the
way.
vault for
Like,
25
that's your
years.
word of the night,
So I don't know if your character is going
tercentenary.
to be like a little kid when you
You
first
are
join
one of the
in,
very
or if that's going to
special
be
few
completely blank. Like,
selected to
oh
be
yeah,
an
you were a
occupant
person who was selected
and
to be an
spend
occupant in this vault.
25 years
Um,
underground
and when you
waiting
do the character
for
creation, you
Reclamation
can make your
Day,
character look
the
like they're
day
100,
the
or you can
vault
make your
opens.
character look like, they're just 20 years old or something. But this is the first bit of gameplay. So I guess you wake up uh, after on Reclamation Day, the day that everybody's supposed to leave the vault and go back out into the wasteland. It's been 25 years since the bombs fell. And then first thing you do is grab this Pip-Boy, which looks a little bit different. So that's pretty cool, actually. I kind of like the older aesthetic they're going for there. I mentioned it in my other Fallout 76 breakdowns. But yeah, you grab that, and then you sort of start heading out into the wasteland. I'm going to start speeding this up here. You walk by Mr. Handy. There's like nothing really noticeable in the fact that the HUD is also taken away during this point. They're just kind of showing off how nice the game looks. And he does get to it in a minute, but it's new lighting, like new weather systems, new rendering. They see that 16 times the amount of detail. So it's hard to exactly, determine what that'll mean. Um, but it does look great. It definitely looks better than Fallout 4. And especially the color and the amount of
We
trees
always
and
start with the
detail.
host, and this time it features all new
Uh,
rendering,
so yeah,
lighting,
new
and
rendering,
landscape
new lighting,
technology.
new
It allows
landscaping,
us to have 16
and
times
then
the
there you go. He
detail,
drops the
an
16
even
times the amount
view,
of detail.
distant weather
And he
systems
says an even
across
view
the map.
distant weather systems. So as you can sort of see in this picture, I'll stop it right there. It looks like up in the hills you can see a lot of smoky areas, like there's like dark black smoke, but off to the right it's sort of like, like almost like a mist or a fog. So I wonder if there'll be weather systems that like move across the map. He says it's 4 times the amount of detail. And in Fallout 4, um, if it's ever raining or anything, it doesn't matter where you are. You don't look up in the sky and see the edge of the storm. It just encompasses the entire map pretty much, with the exception of like the fact that the glowing sea has a bit of a different system of itself going on. So I wonder if there actually will be those moving storms that come across the map. Like it'll be raining in one area, but as you walk, the rain stops, or you can walk into the area that it's raining. That'd be really cool. I
Now,
feel like you
most
don't see
people
that in a lot of
don't
games really
know
at
West
all.
Virginia that well. It is an incredible array of natural wonders, towns, and
So
secrets.
yeah,
This is where
he
the
gets saying
actual
to
nuclear
here
secret.
that there's actual nuclear secrets in West Virginia, which was maybe like a little
This is where the
FYI
actual
for, uh, a little bit of American history there or something. I just wanted to take a look at this guy on the hill there. You can't really tell much. It almost looks like to me at least, he's wearing like some Brotherhood of Steel, like that orange jumpsuit again from Fallout 4, with like a Brotherhood of Steel darker combat armor. But I don't know, maybe it's just kind of difficult to tell, and
And
it's
the quest the overseer
just
sends you on will
um, similar. Anyways, he says the quest that the Overseer sends you on. Actually, I forget that part, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I do want to pause there for that MG42. So obviously a new weapon. And they show this quite a few times. And the fact that this is like a real weapon, I hope they bring a lot more in. I hope there's a lot of different variety. Um, and because it'll be multiplayer, having a big weapon variety will really spice up the encounters.
take you through 6 distinct regions.
Oh yeah, so
each
yeah, the
with
quest the Overseer sends you on sends you through these 6 distinct regions, and here the first one looks like this kind of destroyed city, and he's saying that they all have
their
different
style,
rewards.
risks, and rewards.
different risks. So there'll be different enemies in these different areas. Like I assume the city area here will have more robots maybe. And then yeah, he uses the actual West Virginia folklore of, different creatures and tales or whatever to show some of these creatures. So you see here in a second that giant beast there that was in the earlier trailer. Um, Obviously is a creature that you can fight in game. And then there's this like creepy ass looking ant spider thing with like a hive on its back. Pretty gross, honestly. Then this dude that looks like a Star Wars character in by like a mine. That's pretty cool. I wonder if there'll actually be like mine carts that you can set up again for like resources. Um, I don't know. This thing, which totally looks like a horror movie, and then this thing with this giant tongue and teeth. Ew, pretty gross. And then like this Mirelurk looking robot type deal thing. I don't know.
We have always wanted to tell that story of what it will be like for
So
you and the other
again,
characters who were
now
first to
he's
leave
gonna
the vaults.
talk about
But there is
the
one big difference with this game.
online aspect of
It's
the
that
game.
each of those
So
characters
it
a
is
real
entirely
person.
online. He's saying that each of the characters is a real person, but I don't know what that's gonna mean because there's also gonna be NPCs
Because,
for
yes,
shops and stuff
Fallout
like that.
76 is entirely online.
And then he says it right there. It's entirely online.
Okay.
Um, which before I let that continue, entirely online, I definitely worry some people because one thing that I hope is that even if you take out your internet connection, you'll still be able to experience the game solo, campaign, quests, full story, all that. Because that'd really suck, if I mean, not that I'm ever playing with my internet disconnected, ever really, but it would be unfortunate for some players, I'm sure. And then that brings up the question too. He talks about it later, but he's saying that this isn't going to be a world with 100 or 1,000 people, and you're not going to be able to like tell what server you're on. It's not going to be like, oh, join North America East right now, um, or something like that. Every time you sign on, I think it'll be you'll be in a game with different players, but you can always join your friends. Um, so I'm sure if you have a group of 3, 4 friends and you want to get in a server together, that's going to be no problem. But I don't want to be playing the game alone solo and then run into a group of 4 guys who, kill me while I'm in the middle of trying to do a quest, right? Like if I'm just trying to get something done for the story and then all of a sudden a bunch of dudes roll up on me, that doesn't make it fun. And then that also brings up the question of death in this game. So if you're playing online and you die, where do you respawn? Is it like Minecraft? Do you spawn back at where you most recently slept? Do you spawn back at the vault? Do you spawn back at whatever base you've set up and marked as your, home territory of where you want to be respawning? Still lots of questions. He definitely says he's answering some questions that people have, but it just brings up so many more questions. And for all the skeptics on Reddit, it probably makes them even more concerned. So
right
I'll let it continue here. And I think he might be covering.
First, of course, you can play this solo.
Yeah, so he says you can play it solo, but
you'll be who you want, exploring a huge world, doing quests.
But does that mean you can?
And leveling up.
Again, like, is it single player, like completely offline, or is it solo? Like, yeah, you can sign on to the online portion of the game and just play by yourself, no worries.
We have always wanted to see what our style of
so yeah, he's talking about how does this work with multiplayer,
experiences in our games, but we've never experienced them together.
and then he's gonna lead up to the trailer right here.
Open world survival.
And oh yeah, so obviously it's a survival game. But he's saying it's like a softcore survival, and that's again where when you die, it's not like you lose your level ups. It's not like you lose all the armor and stuff you've gotten. You still get to keep that. You still get to keep all the weapons and items and level ups you have and perks. It's not like you're completely gone and you got to start a new character all of a sudden.
Your character isn't tied to one server. As a matter of fact, you'll never even see a server when you play.
And then there you go. You don't even see servers when you play. It'll be a dozen players, dozens of players, so maybe up to like 50. And you can join any server, and you can join any of your friends, and all the stuff you have continues with you.
You create and tell yourself. By creating a wide open world with very few rules, we have a game, more than any game that we've ever done, where the choices are yours, where you'll decide what happens. You'll decide.
Okay, here's another thing I want to sort of pause on, is that he says the choices are entirely yours. You'll choose the heroes, you choose the villains, yada yada yada. So let's go and play that again.
Ever done where the choices are yours, where you'll decide what happens. You'll decide the heroes and you'll decide the villains. Look, this is a whole new world for all of us here. And fortunately, our friends at Vaultec have made a series of informational videos emerge together.
So yeah, here you come out of the vault, and he's gonna show you what that means. So I'll just kind of let this play, and if I see anything, then I'll stop it and talk about it. Because there are some actual things in the gameplay here to point out.
As you venture out into this new American frontier, some of your fellow survivors may not be
Okay, first thing actually I want to point out is there's like a new map icon, a skull and bones. I wonder what the heck that is. Like maybe in a radiated area, because this is like, you know, the little parks or whatever. But that one actually, I'm not sure.
neighborly.
And then here you go. This is the first encounter basically. So this guy shoots a rocket at him, shoots a missile at him. And then it says he's under attack by Preston Garvey, P. Garvey. So that's obviously the gamer tag of the person he's playing against, and he's level 22. The reward for killing this dude is 10 caps. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gameplay. Crouches, you can see the danger at the top, just as always. The ammo count in the bottom right looks a little bit different, and even the HUD itself, like the action points and HP look different. And because this is online, it seems like VATS will be entirely out of the game, unless they've reworked it, because how will you be able to slow or pause time with other players around? I'm curious about that. But that would mean your action points are now only used for sprinting, and I don't know, maybe some other stuff. On top of that MG42, he brings out this little pistol from like 1700s. Blast this dude's arm off, which looks pretty crazy. And the combat armor also looks pretty nice. Like there's a darker color, so I wonder if that's a customized color or if that's just the default. And now he's in this like critical state. He's gonna go for this execution finish, and ooh. So he got revenge actually. So I guess he was killed by this player before. I didn't notice that the first time, or maybe it's just revenge for that guy starting the fight. I don't know. And then you can see his cap count go up.
Sport. Not all Vault
So we got
76
8 plus
dwellers
the
will
10
be
for
so
the
hostile.
reward.
Find them and brave the new world together. Whether you choose to explore the wasteland alone or with friends, your days will be filled with fun activities.
You can run like a rabbit.
I want to go back there for 1 second.
Activities.
See this dude holding a laser rifle. Hard to get much else. Oh, you can see his action points. They're like, it's got that red bar on it. And if you see right above it, it's kind of hard to tell because the red is sort of blending into the background. But right in this bottom right-hand corner, you see that this little water thing, like the symbol from the Fallout 4 survival mode, is really low. So this guy is obviously dehydrated big time. And that's why his action points are being affected. So those survival mechanics make their way back. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see this guy's in a party of 4. And I never see the parties get any bigger than 4. So it kind of seems like maybe you're only allowed to have 4 people in a party when you join a game. I don't know. But yeah, level 53, 51, and 50.
Rabbit.
Some super mutants they're fighting.
Like a bee. No matter what you do, you'll never get away. Baby, gonna fly behind you.
Guy carrying an axe, laser rifle, 42. You got grenades in the bottom right-hand corner again on his HUD. Reinforcer. This weapon also looks new. And then this switches perspectives to the other dude who's got the laser rifle. He's level 22. Don't see anything other. Oh, and then yeah, you get this where you can, it looks like, build instruments or buy them maybe and jam with your buddies. Oh, and then that is like a monkey looking thing almost. I don't know if that's one of the things from earlier, like that dude that was standing up, the super creepy looking one, like a horror movie. Um, or if that's something entirely new. Yeah, it looks like an entirely new creature. Or maybe not. It's hard to tell. And this looks like they're going to almost like a Diamond City sort of hub area. And then we get an emote wheel here, as well as this person's wearing. Okay, this looks like the armor that we saw earlier in the trailer that I thought maybe was like a Brother to Steel thing. So you can see this jumpsuit he has on looks similar, but the actual combat armor looks different. It also kind of looks like he's holding a flamethrower. So yeah, they're hitting down on the D-pad for an emote menu. And then you have a thumbs up. I don't know what this is, almost like a check me out or something like that. Need money, thumbs down, angry, question mark, love, zombie. I I almost wonder if this is a multiplayer thing, if they're almost going to go for that Fortnite business model where they sell new emotes and stuff, which would be, Fortnite's a free game. So the fact that their way of making money is just that cosmetic shop is like, whatever, you do your thing. But this is going to be a full price game, so I hope there's not a shop brought in. Maybe if there's ways to unlock these through gameplay, or they just bring out new free ones or something, then that would be cool. But I just really hope they don't sell those. And then that person drops the emo right there. Just want to go like that again. See if there's anything to gather from that. Doesn't look like it. And then you got the power armor. First look at that with the headlamp. You got the power armor workstation there, as well as the armor bench, the weapons bench. And this one looks new. This looks like the camp system they talk about later, which is sort of how you set up your base anywhere you want, because you can build anywhere. Sloth. Grafton monster. That thing's massive. Oh yeah, there you go. Automated mining services. So for sure, when we saw that giant excavator in the previous trailer, like doing some mining, for sure you're gonna be able to do mining with that, like minecart that I pointed out earlier. I didn't even catch that the first time. All right. So speed this up again.
Like previous Fallouts, you can play this game solo in Quest. But
Yeah,
the
you can do
easiest
the
way to
solo,
survive in
you
the
can
wasteland
do
is to
quests,
team up
but
and build together.
obviously
And in this one, you can build wherever you want.
you can build
And
wherever
you
you
can also then
want,
move
and
that
it's
to wherever
easier to
you
do with your friends. And he says you can move it wherever you want. So I wonder how that'll work. Like, I guess that camp system, if you set up camp and you build a specific set of items and then you close up the camp, it's almost like if you watch Dragon Ball, like a capsule corp type thing where it's like, boom, you throw out your capsule and you got like a vehicle. And in this case, you have your camp.
After thermonuclear war, man's towering industrial marvels may no longer stretch to the heavens. What separates man from beast? It is his desire to build. Get started with camps. The construction and assembly mobile platform.
So right there, when he builds the camp, it costs him 40 caps. So I wonder if you'll be able to... Oh no, in the top left-hand corner, you see it says camp moved, and that cost him 40 caps. So I wonder if the cost of moving your camp will be dependent on how much you've built in your camp. So say if you build up a ton of stuff and you have a bunch of different workbenches and a bunch of, a couple houses, areas for you and your friends to store stuff, if all of a sudden that's going to cost you 200 caps. And if you do have your little camp set up, will you and your friends be able to share that? Like, can I give my buddy permission to move the camp so that, he can move it if he's like scouting a little bit further ahead than me? Or will we each have our own little ones and we can kind of set them up together so that these 4 little camps almost build like one bigger one? And then in the bottom right, again, I'll just point out that you see the food and water meters are highlighted out there.
Construct your...
And now here's the crafting system. The HUD definitely looks updated. Um, so on the left side, we have our different workbenches that we're kind of used to. So the first one is your cooking station. The third one is the chemistry. Then we have the armor workbench, the weapons workbench, and the power armor workbench. The second one is hard to tell. I have no idea what that is actually. Maybe it'll be an ammo workbench. But if that was the case, you'd almost think it'd be like down here. Actually, one thing to point out is that this is our. Oh no, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say this is the cooking station, and then the chemistry, and I was gonna say maybe it's alphabetical, but this is the armor, and obviously that doesn't make sense. And if it was alphabetical, then cooking and chemistry would be flipped. So that doesn't make sense. Never mind. There goes that theory. But we do have walls, roofs, stairs, doors, miscellaneous structures, turrets and traps, defenses, and generators. So I wonder what the difference between turrets and traps and defenses is, because previously the defenses category was your turrets and traps. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any immediate ideas of what that can mean. But we do have, again, the workshop budget, so you can only build so much in a given area. And building this only gives you 2 experience. I think it was definitely more than that in Fallout 4, so it seems like maybe they're nerfing the amount that building gives you. I don't know. It's only 2 steel and 2 wood to build this thing as well. Were the resources higher in Fallout 4? I don't know. Maybe things will cost less resources and give you less XP because they want people to use the building more. And if you're having to do so much scavenging, then it's kind of harder to build. Who's to say? Or maybe just the items like the more essential items like a campfire, like a armor workbench are less expensive, but the armor mods remain the same difficulty to build.
Home of the future.
Shelves, floor decor, beds, chairs, vendors, tables, wall decor.
Future.
There's that like Vault Boy statue.
With your
Nothing
home secure.
particularly interesting there. I will jump back a second there though. Yeah, we got all the walls you can see in the bottom or the left-hand side, like, and definitely looks like there's more wall variants, which is nice because some of the default
With
stuff
your
in
home
Fallout 4
secure,
is just really ugly.
you can
Then we got a bunch more turrets here.
now craft hand.
Oh, and there's a spotlight so you can spot people, and maybe that'll trigger the turrets. Oh, actually, I do want to go back there as
Home
well.
secure. You
So it says that this turret, this missile turret, you can see all the stuff it requires there, which does look more in line with like how much it required in Fallout 4. Requires the home defense perk at level 3. So perks towards defending your settlements, obviously.
can now craft handmade ordnance.
Giant cannon, like from the like the Minutemen thing.
At your leisure to give your altercations that personal touch.
And then your settlements will obviously be attacked.
It falls on you and the ingenuity of your fellows to rebuild the America we hold dear.
Actually, I want to go back there. Okay, never mind. I was going to say it looked like the power armor station had a power line going to it, but that doesn't appear to be the case.
Don't become too attached too quickly. Monitor your environment for anything out of the ordinary.
So I hear them getting attacked, and you see this pipe revolver pistol thing, or the pipe rifle making a return, as well as these little robot dudes.
The home of
A new enemy, which was in the first trailer.
tomorrow may undergo certain challenges.
A Scorch Beast? Yeah, Scorch Beast.
After a crisis, work with your neighbors.
Oh, and one thing I want to point out here is the level of this thing. It's level 50 with the skull on it, because obviously these guys are 200 level. His buddies are level 10, 12, and 14. I wonder if the sort of enemies like this you encounter are like a culmination of all your levels together. So let's assume the guy we're watching his perspective is also about level 12. Then that means we're looking at about, like, as a group, level 50 if you add up all the levels together. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I don't know.
To ensure success. There's no I in nuclear wasteland. Document.
And then you can take little photos too. And there's only 3 players here, so I assume there's like another button that you can press as one player to take a picture of everybody else. Hard to say. But there's a bunch of stuff you can adjust.
Your adventures, your memories
So you definitely
will
want to
shape
capitalize
the
on
new
those social
American
features.
dream.
And yeah, you're choosing all the poses. You can sort of see that again in the bottom right. The expression on the face, the pose category, and then the actual pose itself. So again, like, I wonder if these will be
American
sold. I hope
dream.
not.
What's that sound? Oh dear. There goes the neighborhood.
One thing to point out about all of this, though, is that the fact that it's online pretty much seems like modding is gone from this game, because you can't install new, like, you know,
So we
new
thought,
weapon mods.
why don't we put multiple nuclear missile
If
sites
you're going
on
to be
the
playing with
map?
other players online, you don't have that same mod installed. So yeah, what he's saying right now is
And
that
then let all
there
of
is
you
nuclear
do whatever you want with them.
plants around the map, like, where you can actually launch missiles at each other.
Today's episode, Atomics for Peace. When you emerge from the comfort and safety of your vault, the world you know will have changed. Take your friendly old neighbor Johnny. Rather than coming over to borrow a cup of sugar, he may now be coming over for murder. The time has come to seek out greater means of protection. Nuclear armaments. That's right.
Boom, you got your Boys in Power armor here, all of the classics, plus a newer looking one on the
Courtesy
right.
of your
And then what weapons are these guys holding? It looks like the Gauss rifle. The one on the left is hard to tell because he's sort of holding it straight at the camera, so all I see is like the barrel. And then it looks like the it almost looks like the jet gun or whatever the heck it was called. It looks like the rocket launcher almost to me, but maybe it is that jet gun thingy from Junk Jet. That's what it was, from Fallout 4. The guy on the
Uncle
far
Sam.
right is holding like a minigun type thing,
These wonders of the atomic age can be found right in your own
and he's got binoculars. He can hold his breath on them.
backyard. But how does a fella like you acquire nuclear weapons, you may ask?
So while you're going around, you
Begin
find these
by
pieces of these
inquiring with the
nuclear launch codes. And you can see that these
locals.
ghouls look a little bit
Gently
different.
coax them into cooperation. Use a little elbow grease if you have to.
Ghoul officers. And the power armor HUD looks exactly the same. And there, he gets the first silo
In the
code.
likely event you don't acquire a full code on your
So
own,
yeah, you can team up
do
with
not
your friends and
search for others who might be harboring a grudge.
get that,
You'll have that
get the pieces of the nuclear
launch
code.
in no time.
And then when you go to the actual
With the
thing,
power of the atom
you
at your
can,
fingertips, be
input
responsible
your
and
card,
consider
and then here's the map. And you get to choose
your
which
target
location
carefully.
you're going to
Attention.
attack.
Launch sequence activated.
And then it launches out looking like Fallout New Vegas here. Going some road. And then when it hits that place, it
Will
actually
your
turns
bomb
into
land
like
on a rival camp
its
of
own little
degenerates? A random
wasteland.
stranger? The local wildlife?
Or like its own little glowing
Whatever your
sea,
target
I guess,
may be,
like is what I'm
take
trying to say.
advantage of the resulting
Because
fallout
you see
to
here
get
that they're saying if you take advantage of the resulting fallout, and they're in
the
this
rare and
completely
valuable
destroyed area.
resources.
You know, a snallygaster. Okay, so that was the thing with the tongue. And then a death claw.
Yet these rewards don't come without risk. The fate of this new
And
world
then that was pretty much
to
it for
command
like
with the power
the
of the
nuclear armament stuff. So yeah, that seems like more of a late
We
game
know you
thing.
play a
Those
lot of our
guys
games
were
and a
like
lot of
level
online games,
50.
but this one really is unique. We have built a platform, 100% dedicated servers.
Okay,
that
yeah,
will
it's got
support
dedicated
this game now
servers and
and for
it's
years to
gonna
come.
last for years to come, blah blah
And
blah.
look, we know this is new for
I
all of you. It's new
don't
for us.
think
It's a little bit
there's a
scary.
bunch
And to that
else.
end,
He's
we're gonna
gonna
need your
go
help
through the
because
fact that
we are
there
going to
is
have
a
beta.
beta. If you want to get in on
And we're
that,
sponsored by
it
our
says
friends at
on their
Bethesda as well.
website
The Break It Early Test
that
So
if you
not only is it
pre-order
online
any
games are hard,
edition
they
of the
have some
game, you'll
issues.
get access to
I
the
read in the thread
beta.
that our games have had a few bugs.
So
Reddit on the internet, so
I don't think pre-orders are really
and,
available
sometimes
right now
doesn't just
anywhere
work.
from what I was looking at.
Hey, we know together.
It
We're
actually
gonna
there
build
was
something
on
really
their
special,
site, but it
and we
looked
also
like it
know
was
that
only
all of you
was
love
it only
online
was
special
for the
editions, and we're gonna
United
have an awesome
States.
collector's edition for you. It starts with a map of the world that glows
And then yeah, the
and
different editions have all these
a couple
different
favors too, but not a ton.
rewards and that
And it also comes
poster
with a
there.
collectible bit. Really, no one always wanted, so we made them for everybody to buy, and here it is. Really, and it also
I
put
wanna
on the map,
get this part.
right? Fucking dark world that glows in the fucking dark.
Boom. Wanted to get that in there.
And it's right.
So yeah, you can
So
get a
cool.
poster that glows in the dark. It's a map of the world. It also comes with these. It said it comes with
And
like
it
a
also comes with a
24
collectible bit.
figures or
Really, I've
something
always
like
wanted
that.
everybody to buy, and here it is.
And then this little trailer shows that you can get this power armor helmet in the power armor edition of the game, which I'm sure will cost like $250, $300, similar to the Pip-Boy edition, I believe, was around that price, and I do have
Yes,
that.
the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. So you're probably wondering, when is this game coming out?
And yeah,
We're
like I
excited to
said
say
earlier, it
it's
comes
coming out
out
this year,
November
November
14th. I
Have
don't think there's
first
actually anything
for
else.
PlayStation 4. And because, like I said,
Yeah, so he's saying that Fallout Shelter's coming
the other
to
franchise we love.
Switch and
It is called The Elder Scrolls Blades.
Switch and PS4.
Like Fallout
It's
Shelter,
already
we
out.
wanted an experience
It came
we
out that
weren't finding
night.
anywhere else.
And then Blades is their new mobile
In
game.
portrait mode, no one knows here, and it is. We're excited to announce.
And then they show off their new IP. So Starfield has been rumored for years. People have been talking about it, asking about it. I was thinking maybe last year it was going to be at E3.
Something we feel unique.
But that's going to be quite some time out. And after that will be this. So yeah, those are going to be next generation games. I assume there'll have to be some new consoles out before those come, because he said, I forget what he said exactly about Starfield, but he said next generation type thing, like really ambitious. And obviously that'll answer some unique questions and show probably how the universes of Fallout and Skyrim are in the same universe and how they're connected. And there's those aliens that show up in all the Fallout games, and then in Fallout 4 there's things like the Nirn route that's on the Pridwin, how'd that get from Tamriel over there. So should be pretty cool. It was such a sick E3. I was so surprised that they showed those teasers, but people have been asking about it for a long time, so I just wanted to say, shut up about it. All right? It's on our minds. We're not idiots, okay? But that's going to be it. He doesn't talk anymore about Fallout. Pretty long video. Don't have anybody actually watch the full thing, but I think I caught quite a few little details in there and hopefully shared some unique speculation. But that's going to be it for this one. Likes, comments, always appreciated. Until next time, bye for now.